Or
No,
as
because
in the
you're
interim
making
budget.
enough
And certainly with
generic
the new
points. I'm
government-
still waiting for the one specific point to
I'm not making generic point. I'm making very specific points. I'm making very specific points. So if you look at, for example, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana, 14,715 crores allocated. The interim budget had allocated 21,800 crores. So there's actually been a reversal of 7,000 crores on PMGSY. Then if you look at the health sector, 33,000 crores had been allocated to the health sector. That is static. There is no increase or decrease. On education, there's a decrease of roughly about 1,000 crores.
Now you're really
sector,
sort of, you're scraping the bottom now. You're nitpicking now.
I'm not.
Now.
Let's look at the facts. Let's look at the numbers and let's look at the facts. More importantly, on the infrastructure side, there is a reliance on PPP and FDI, and surely there must be, because we must be able to get all sorts of financing in to get this economy going. But at the same time, it has to be realistic. When we talk about the bullet train phenomena, and you have a lot of economists on the panel with you, what is the capital cost that one is looking at? Close to about 60,000 crores. What is the revenue?
We're not talking about the bullet train tonight. We spoke about it 2 days back. No, 1 second. That's the railway budget. Come on.
But that's a part.
You have no arguments on the budget.
But that's certainly a part of this government.
You have no arguments left on the budget. That's all. That's all the points you have to make.
I certainly do. If only you give me if only you give me the point and don't the time and don't interrupt me. So therefore, you're turning from your suave demeanor to your normal demeanor, which is what I brought you to, and I must apologize for that.
You see, what happens
now the
is
last
that
point I want to make
what happens is that you see, there's nothing suave about. One second, there's nothing suave or unsophisticated about the manufacturing sector contracting to 0.7% in 2013-14. I mean, if you want to look at numbers.
Make one comment on the manufacturing sector, Arnab. Only 1 point, very limited point, because I have to leave. One very limited point.
No, do I come in at all in the discussion or no or not?
Yes, Sitaram Yechury. Let's get Sitaram Yechury.
I'm sitting here for
Arnab, 1 point before I leave, because I have to leave.
I'm just wondering if you just wanted the...
No, I have to leave.
1 second, gentlemen. 1 second. Watch it. So therefore, thank you very much. Let me moderate this. Jyotiraditya Scindia, your opening remarks, which sadly were bereft of any one specific point, went into about 4 minutes. I request you to come up with something specific. Sitaram Yechury, what's your complaint with the budget?
I made a point on every single point that I talked about.
Okay.
No. One specific point, Arnab, and then before I leave, just one very short point.
Arnab, you decide, whether you want us to be there.
Gentlemen, 1 second. Let Praful Patel just bear with me a minute. Bear with me a minute, Praful Patel. Let Sitaram Yechury come in because he's not spoken yet. Yeah. No, let Sitaram Yechury make his point. I'll come to you. Let Sitaram Yechury make his point.
Let Praful make the point. I'm not saying...
Sure. Go ahead then, Praful Patel. Go ahead.
20 minutes here.
Arnab, one aspect, say, of the budget. Let's talk of manufacturing. You know, the automobile industry is 25% of the manufacturing GDP of our country. If that sector, all it's been given is a continuation of the stimulus which had been announced by the previous government. That itself was not enough. It's only been extended for another 6 months, that is till December. It should have been at least extended till March. That has been missing. What the automobile industry really wanted was an extra fillip to really kickstart the sales and therefore manufacturing and new jobs. Both the things have been missing in this budget. So I wish, you see, this is not a criticism, but the fact that a lot of the expectations from the budget will not be met until and unless some specific sectors are given a real kickstart. And this is one major sector, which is 25% of India's manufacturing GDP.
Okay, make your point. Now, Sitaram Yechury, go ahead. Sitaram Yechury's turn. Please don't interrupt. Please, 1 second. Ravi Shankar Prasad, you will respond to Sitaram Yechury after he makes his point. Yes, Sita.
I have to go. I have to go. Please. Yes, I have to go to the channel. Please.
No,
Ravi Shankar Prasad, listen to Sitaram Yechury's point.
For a minute.
Yeah.
No, you see, nobody is judging this government on the basis of just 45 days of that it has come into office. We are judging the government on the blueprint that it has presented in this budget for this rest of this fiscal year. Now, the blueprint rests very, very crucially on the fact of fiscal consolidation. Now, the fiscal consolidation is supposed to be achieved by a revenue growth of 17%. When you have a growth rate of between 4 to 5%, and to expect a revenue growth of revenue to the tune of 17% is completely unrealistic. So the net result would only be, if you want to meet your fiscal targets, you only have to contract your expenditures much more significantly than what you have projected. Already there is a 4% less in real terms in terms of planned expenditure in the budget. So what are you really trying to do? You are increasing the opportunities for FDI and through the PPP route for the corporates, fine, but by merely increasing the opportunities to invest is not going to lead to growth unless what is produced by that investment is consumed by your domestic market in a global situation of sluggishness. Your exports are not growing. Unless you increase the purchasing power in the hands of the Indian people, nothing of this is going to work. On the contrary, the purchasing power is contracting very sharply. Now, there's nothing that's been addressed to control this inflation. So the net result, even with your REGA and your health expenditures, my friend Jyotiraditya has reeled out some figures. I'm not going into those details, but the net result of all this is going to be a further contraction of your domestic demand, which means there's also been a great expectation from one big section of India. It's not only industry, it's not only the corporates, it's not only international finance. There's also the people of India, remember. They've been promised Achhe Din Aane Wale Hain. Soon you're going to hear the slogan. Yeah, soon you are going to hear the slogan, Hamare Purane Din Lautao.
If I get the time to respond.
Yes.
Yes,
because he's asking you.
I don't think I'm getting that.
No, because Sitaram Yechury is asking you. Sitaram Yechury is asking you where is all this money going to come from? Your 31% increase in service tax collection, non-revenue tax jump of 24%, 145% in disinvestment, short-term borrowings by 52%. These are big targets. He's asking you where is it going to come from? It can't just be on the basis of the fact that the BJP is in power. Ravi Shankar Prasad, do respond. Do respond to Sitaram Yechury.
And thereafter allow me to go.
Yeah,
because
go
other
ahead.
channels are waiting for me.
You'll have to wait for my response,
Ravi.
Ravi.
Tell my great friends, Mr.
You'll have to wait for my response to your response.
Yechury and others. The people have given you response. Please have some patience, Mr. Yechury, please. What is
10 years ago people... please, Ravi, remember, 10 years ago people also gave you response to your India Shining slogan.
Or now should I speak?
So don't be very arrogant about this. People having given response. You were also two in the Lok Sabha.
Debate with you like you, but I don't see any introspection in spite of big drubbing you have received by the people of India and reduced to a margin of Indian politics. Think about that first.
Please.
We'll have enough time to debate.
Please.
Now let me reply, please. Let me reply now. Please let me reply now.
Please.
Or no, let me reply now.
Please.
My point is very simple.
Have your feet.
All the arguments they could make in the first week of March 2015, they are making it now. Whether it will be done or not done, it will be done. Now. It is the government which...
You presented the
What has happened to you, Yechury? Today you don't even allow me to speak? Because the point I'm trying to highlight is that if the budget has a vision and the budget has the commitment of the good governance and implementability, come on, Mr. Yechury, have patience. What is the problem with you today? It will not be done. Economy will not grow at 4%. It will pick up the momentum. Tax buoyancy will go on, regardless of you being the prophets of doom, which you are always. The people of country have trusted us because of our record of governance and trust. We will deliver that. That's all I have to say you. Thank you, Arnav. Thank you.
Well, but Ravi Shankar Prasad, Ravi Shankar Prasad's
that was Ravi Shankar Prasad's final line. Thank you, Arnab. We will deliver. Thank you, Arnab. Now you say what you have to say.
But these are not completely irrelevant questions.
If wishes were horses, my dear Ravi, if wishes were horses, they would also be bolting like you are doing now. Now the point is, The point is,
he's already bolted.
You have set targets. You have set targets. I have not. You have said this is realizable. I have not said this. I am only asking you that what you have set as your targets, please tell me within these constraints, how are they realizable? Your manufacturing growth is negative. Your index of industrial production is negative. Your gross capital formation in the economy is in the negative. This is the state of your fundamentals, and you're expecting a revenue buoyancy of 17%.
But why has the government done this then?
Is this feasible?
No, but why, to the panel, my question is, why has the government done this? Why would you end up putting so much pressure on yourself? It's completely unrealistic.
Because they want to look good.
No, to achieve this 4.1% figure, it's completely unrealistic.
This is the gamble, and I think the government thinks that it will achieve a higher rate of growth, real GDP growth, and a low rate of inflation, but the overall nominal rate of growth is 17%.
See, no, 13.4.
Just a bit. Now,
13.4.
Actually betting on is the fact that right now it's the sentiment which is wrong, and it is the sentiment which has been addressed. So once the sentiment has been addressed, the growth will happen, and that's really the decision-making process. We're banking on the sentiment.
I want an important point here.
Yeah,
I want an important point. You see, I wish growth takes place on sentiment alone. You will have to look at the basic fundamental factor which I was talking about. What are you doing to expand your domestic demand? And as long as you do not address that issue, there cannot be any growth possible given this global environment today.
There's a two-part answer to that.
And to add the answer to that, I'm asking you, you have slashed down on your actual capital expenditures by in real terms by about 4%.
Mr. Yechury, you made this point twice about the domestic demand, and the fact is that the finance minister has put more money in the pockets of the people by raising, one, the exemption limit on the income tax. Two, he has not touched any of the subsidies, so that the expenditure is rising. Hello, just a second.
No, watch out, Jyotiraditya Scindia. Watch, Jyoti, yes, Jyoti.
No, that is not correct. But you have increased your exemption of tax.
No, watch it. Let Jyoti speak, please. Watch it.
Now listen.
Yes, Jyoti.
What money are you putting?
It's less than 20.
Increasing the exemption limit by 50,000.
Yes, but that is more money.
1 second, let Jyoti speak. Yes, Jyoti.
No. You see,
let Jyoti speak, make his point. 1 second.
The exemption that you're giving is not going to result in increasing demand. I completely agree with Ravi Shankar Prasad ji. Let's give this government 8 months. I don't have a problem. But on the one hand, you're asking for 8 months. On the other hand, you're saying we'll deliver on all of this. Please understand, and I think people like Onkar Goswami also will understand on your panel, that to increase growth also, it doesn't happen with the click of a finger. It takes a cycle, which means that policies have to be moved, policies have to be executed, the confidence has to come in, the investment has to come in, and there's a lag period.
So I don't think the economy,
I wish it would happen.
I think,
but I don't
you're
see
absolutely
this economy
correct.
growing at
I
more
think
than
the jury is out.
6.2% for the rest of this fiscal, and then going up to 6.5–7% maybe next fiscal. So we're talking about 18
Jyoti, you're
months
absolutely right.
In the interim, in 8 months, you're looking for
the
a
following
great tax
statement be said. I think the correct statement today is that at the end of the day,
and fiscal
1 year from now, let's see.
I think you're
at the end of March,
for a
we'll
very
see.
long, very tall order. I hope it's possible as a citizen, but I certainly doubt it as an economist.
That's the only criticism now, it seems to be coming from both Sitaram Yechury as well as Jyotiraditya is that we like the intent. 1 second, we like the intent, we like the way the government is going, but we are worried about them achieving it. Fine. I can understand that, but you're not criticizing them on the steps that they are taking.
Sitaram Yechury responding to Sunil Alagh. Let Sita respond, please. Sita, please. Sita to Sunil Alagh.
I'm saying that it's not that I'm doubtful that the government is going to achieve that or not. I'm saying it cannot achieve it. Because on the basis that it's not that its intent is good or correct.
See, as far as
no, the premise of that intent, please remember what I'm trying to say. The premise of that intent is based on creating a good sentiment, creating investment avenues, and therefore hunky-dory everything will follow.
No.
I'm sorry, investment does not come because it likes your face or my face.
No. Let me answer this. Let me answer this with all the questions. No, let's go back.
That return on that investment, the return on that investment is possible only if there is going to be expanding domestic demand. That is not happening.
Mr. Yechuri, if you remember,
I'm trying to make.
They never stop. Mr. Yechuri, if you remember that when Mr. Vajpayee started that national highway scheme, the employment that was generated in the rural areas led to a huge demand. All FMCG companies did well. Now, if they are going to spend money on roadways, and if they are 37,000 crores, there are people who are going to get employed. People are going to have money in their pockets to spend. Why are you questioning everything that the government wants to do?
Guarantee.
Well, I questioning everything that is the government.
I think for entrepreneurs, venture capital, there is
every single thing is going to go wrong according to Mr. Yechuri. This government will do nothing.
25 crores and above.
These are the people who predicted BJP will not win.
Please understand the point I'm trying to say. It's not that everything is going to be wrong. Everything is
all right. If they don't achieve 4.1%, it becomes 4.3. It is still a very good job.
Gentlemen, one second.
Can I make a completely different point?
I'm going to close with closing remarks to Jyotiraditya Scindia here. The point is, you can't blame somebody for trying.
Completely different point.
They're blaming everybody for trying.
Fine, they are trying, but what our panelists are saying that 8 months down the line, it will all come crumbling down. Yes, Jyoti.
No.
Can I make a completely different point?
Whom have you asked now?
What we heard in the budget about the fact that this government has the right to put in place retrospective taxation, but it certainly will not exercise that right as long as it possibly can, which is a wonderful statement to hear. But at the same time, in this same budget, you have a retrospective tax that has been imputed on investors. For all those investors that are investing in non-equity mutual funds, which means debt or otherwise, even if they sell tomorrow, even though the investments may have been made a year ago or 2 years ago, they will have to pay the nominal tax rate and not get the long-term capital tax gains which was in place. So I think on the one hand you're saying that there will be no retrospective tax, on the other hand you're putting a retrospective tax immediately on debt investors. I think
I agree with you, it's not a good tax. It may not have been a good, in fact I'd say it's not a good tax proposal, but it's not a retrospective tax.
Okay,
a retrospective tax goes back in time to a certain point, like Pranab Mukherjee did to 62.
I think, gentlemen,
I don't agree.
I think the only valid criticism that I can see out of all of this discussion is the fact that the 4.1 may not be hit because growth is weak, etc. But the fact is, much of that has really been inherited by this government. It is not their real, and they have the intent of getting it going. Now, my own view is that given the drought, it will be very, very difficult. But I think that is not a criticism really of the budget, but of the circumstances.
I think to that I'd say the reason why they keep it so tight is I think Arun Jaitley is also managing sentiment for the moment. Yeah. He knows he may not have the numbers. He has to manage the sentiment, but managing sentiment is not managing the economy. I'm going to come back on the other side on whether this will be a new India in terms of a richer middle class, more money in their hands, whether there's a new middle class push. We're talking about all that thanks to our panelists out there.